Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where a sheriff's deputy got placed under arrest for operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol. He soon realized that his bad decisions may cost him his career. On November 24, 2022, an officer from the Clearwater Police Department observed a vehicle traveling well above the designated speed limit and swerving lanes recklessly. In response, the officers pursued the vehicle and initiated a traffic stop by pulling the driver over. The driver compliantly parked the vehicle, and the officer made contact with him shortly after. This entire traffic stop was captured on the officer's body cam.
Do you have your license, registration, insurance on you?
Lima, Romeo Delta, 1 LRD. We got a Toyota Tarco.
Where are you coming from?
New York Shepherds.
Okay. Where are you headed to?
That changed.
Down the road to a friend's house? How far down the road?
11 minutes.
Okay. That's a good one. And your insurance?
Insurance.
Do you know I pulled you over?
Probably because I swerved.
No, because do you know the speed limit on the causeway?
35.
Well, that would be worse. It's 45. You're going 61.
Was I?
Yes. Swerving is a problem too, but you're definitely going too fast.
Even though this may seem like a normal traffic stop, when you realize who the driver is, that's when things are immediately worse. The driver here is 42-year-old Nathan Weaver, a detention deputy with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. He claimed that he was on his way to a friend's house with his girlfriend, and while that may be true, he also admitted to swerving. But as the officer stated, swerving wasn't the main concern here. Deputy Weaver was going 61 miles per hour in a 45-mile-per-hour zone. Now, it goes without saying that speeding in and of itself is unacceptable. However, as a member of law enforcement, Deputy Weaver is held to a much higher standard, and it was much worse for him to be breaking the law. But things were even worse. This traffic stop wasn't going to end with a simple speeding ticket. The officer noticed a few hints in Deputy Weaver's behavior that led him to believe that he was under the influence of alcohol. Watch as the officer questioned Deputy Weaver about this.
How much did you have to drink tonight?
I had a couple drinks.
Okay.
But
what?
I should be within limit, I would think.
What's that?
I should be within limit, I would think.
Fair enough. Alright, Cary Hills Court, still a good address for you?
Yes.
Okay, sit there. Alright, big part of my job is just to make sure that people are safe to drive, okay? Like I said, I can smell the alcohol coming off you. Do you mind if I just check your eyes real quick? Alright, go ahead and step on out. Come on back here with me.
As seen in the footage, Deputy Weaver admitted to having a couple of drinks earlier that night, but also claimed that he was surely within the legal alcohol limit, implying that he was safe to drive. However, with his speed and reckless style of driving, things appeared to be contrary to what he was saying. The officer also stated that he could smell a distinct odor of alcohol coming from Deputy Weaver. Anyway, Deputy Weaver agreed to step out of his vehicle and have his eyes checked to make sure he wasn't overly intoxicated. But watch what he does when he steps out of his vehicle.
Okay. Gotta shake this. Settings.
What's that?
My actual ID. My sheriff's ID.
What do you do there?
I'm a deputy.
You're a deputy?
Yeah.
Okay. You understand how concerning this is?
No, I understand.
Okay. Well, as we're on the same page. Just, when you get out and you're kind of bobbling around, it's a problem. Does that make sense?
Deputy Weaver presented his police ID to the officer and informed him that he was a deputy at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. As expected, the officer was in disbelief and told Deputy Weaver that this was very concerning, highlighting that he stumbled while stepping out of the vehicle which was yet another red flag. Following this, the officer proceeded to perform a few field sobriety tests to determine whether Deputy Weaver was overly intoxicated or not. In general, the standard field sobriety test, otherwise known as the SFST, is a battery of 3 tests that include the horizontal gaze nystagmus, or HGN, the walk and turn, and the one-leg stand tests. These tests have been scientifically proven to validate legal intoxication in drivers suspected of drunken driving in 90% of cases if administered by a trained officer. Results of the tests are admissible as evidence in court. Now watch as the officer performs a horizontal gaze nystagmus and further questions Deputy Weaver, who then states that he had 5 drinks that night.
I get you. Okay. Do this. Feet together, hands on by your side. Actually, let's turn around. I want the light in your eyes. Turn towards me. Okay. So say just like that. What I want you to do is, you see the tip of the pen? What color is that?
Silver.
Okay. Sir, what's in your nose?
It's sore.
It's a sore?
Yeah, I had actually a fever blister in my nose.
Okay. Alright. So you see the tip of that?
Yep.
What color is that?
So,
Okay. Follow just your eyes and don't move your head, okay?
okay.
Okay. Alright, now I'm going to go in a series of small circles. I'm going to come in the side like it's going to touch you. I'm not going to touch you. Alright, eyes are going to feel like they want to cross. Just let them do whatever they do naturally, okay? Feet together, heels and toes touching. Okay, right here. Would you be willing to do some exercise with me just to make sure you're okay to drive? Hang out at the back of the car over here. Do you have any physical defects? We'll make sure the other steel rod in your leg.
Nope. Good.
Are you currently sick or injured?
Nope.
Do you take any prescription medications?
Not at all.
Okay.
Nope. Not since this morning.
What's that?
Not since this morning.
Not since this morning?
Right.
Okay. Are you diabetic? Do you take insulin? Do you wear contact lenses?
Yes.
And they're soft or hard?
Soft.
Soft. Okay. What's the highest level of education you've completed?
Bachelor's degree.
A what?
Bachelor's degree.
A bachelor's degree? Okay. In the last 24 hours, how much alcohol have you consumed?
5 drinks.
Oh, what were they?
Crown and Coke.
Crown and Cokes? Okay. Any drugs or narcotics, anything like that? You said it's just a sore that's in your nose?
Yes.
Okay.
At this point, it's worth noting that Deputy Weaver was upfront and honest about his situation. He admitted to having drinks that night and was complying with the officer throughout this encounter. However, his intention behind presenting the officer with his police ID is still debatable. It could be argued that maybe he expected to be treated differently after making it clear that he was a fellow officer. But regardless, the officer was doing his duty with honesty and hence proceeded to the next part of the field sobriety test.
So do you want to keep your shoes on or off?
On.
On. Okay. You see the line in front of us?
Yep.
Nice and clear. What color is that?
White.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Do me a favor. Hold up your left hand. Hold up your right hand. Okay. Go ahead and put your hands down. I just want to make sure you know your left from your right, okay? Go ahead and put your left foot on the line, just like mine. Take your right foot in front of your left foot, touching heel to toe. Hands on by your side and stay just like that till I ask you to start, okay? When I ask you to start, I'm going to ask you to take 9 heel to toe steps down the line, turn around just like I show you, and take 9 heel to toe steps back up the line, okay? Don't step off the line. Touch heel to toe on every step. Don't use your arms for balance. Once you start, don't stop for any reason, okay? When you walk down the line, you're going to look down at your toes, and you're going to count each step out loud. Go ahead and stay in the start position for me, okay? All right, so when you look down at your toes, it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth till you get to 9. Go ahead and stay in the start position for me. Once you get to the final step, leave your lead foot on the ground. Take a series of small chopping steps to turn around. Walk back up the line. 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth till you get to 9. Okay? There's 9 steps down. Turn around just like I showed you. 9 steps back up. Do you have any questions? Do you understand the instructions? Okay. When you're ready, go.
Do I count this one as the one?
Your first step is going to be your first step. Okay? When you're ready, go ahead and begin.
What we've just seen is the walk and turn exercise. Even though it may appear that Deputy Weaver performed well and showed little signs of impairment in this test, the officer was watching a lot closer. During the test, the officer looks for 7 indicators of impairment. A subject may be impaired if they begin before the instructions are finished, cannot keep balance while listening to the instructions, does not touch heel to toe, loses balance while turning, stops while walking to regain balance, takes an incorrect number of steps, or uses arms to balance. It goes without saying that Deputy Weaver certainly displayed a few of those 7 indicators. On top of this, Deputy Weaver had slurred speech and often found it tough to put words together into a sentence. This was another clue pointing in the same direction. Regardless, the officer proceeded to the one-leg stand test, and this is when it became very clear that Deputy Weaver was definitely not sober enough to be sitting behind the wheel. Watch as Deputy Weaver lost his balance several times during this exercise.
Alright, let's try this. I'm going to try the one-leg stand, okay? For the one-leg stand, you're going to put your feet together, hands on by your side. Stay just like that while I give you the instructions, because I want to explain it to you and I want to show it to you, okay? For this exercise, when I ask, whichever leg you're more comfortable with, okay, I want you to take that foot, lift it 6 inches off the ground like you're going to crush a soda can, point your toe so it's horizontal to the ground. You look down at your toe, count 1001, 1002, 1003, so on and so forth, until I ask you to stop. Don't step off, or don't put your foot down, don't hop on the foot you leave on the ground, don't use your arms for balance, and try not to sway, okay? If your foot does fall, get your balance, lift it back up, and continue where you left off, counting out loud. 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, so on and so forth, until I ask you to stop. Do you understand the instructions? Do you have any questions? Which foot are you going to lift? So you're going to lift your right and keep your left foot planted? Okay. When you're ready, go ahead and begin. Look down at your toe, sir. Just remember, look down at your toe.
2006, 2008, 2009, 2010. 2011, 2012. 2013. 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018.
Go and relax.
Now that all 3 exercises within the standard field sobriety test have been completed, the officer had more than enough clues to determine whether Deputy Weaver was under the influence of alcohol or not. Therefore, the officer patted Deputy Weaver down and subsequently placed him in handcuffs while informing him that he was under arrest for driving under the influence.
Do you have any weapons or anything on you? Do you mind if I just check real quick? One down here. Mr. Weaver, you're going to be arrested for DUI. My question is, are you going to provide me with a sample of your breath? What's that? Okay. Who's in the car with you? That's your girlfriend? Has your girlfriend been drinking tonight as well? So we're going to make sure that she's okay. If she's okay, do you want your car to go with her? What's that?
Any weapons in the vehicle?
What's that?
No.
No weapons in the vehicle? Okay. What's that?
Making you bathe.
Alright, come on over here. Now you get in the back of my car. Slow. Watch your head. Okay.
Following this, the officer made contact with the passenger of the vehicle, Deputy Weaver's girlfriend. She was questioned about whether she also had anything to drink that night, but she claimed that she was fit to drive the vehicle home. So the officer made use of a breathalyzer to ensure this.
Hello, ma'am. Have you been drinking tonight?
I've had nothing to drink at all.
Nothing at all?
Nothing
Okay.
at all.
Do you have a driver's license on you?
I do.
Can I get that for me, please? Do you have his cell phone?
It's right here.
Can you grab his cell phone for me, pretty please? Thank you, ma'am. Alright, sit tight. Alright, so let's go ahead and step out for me, if you would, sir, please. Alright, so this is a PVT. There's no legality or anything like that. It's just making sure that you're okay to drive.
I'm perfectly okay with that.
Okay. Just want to explain it to you.
I just told him though I am getting over pneumonia. I know you have to blow a long time, so just bear with me.
Alright, nice and slow, even breath. Keep on blowing. Go, 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 go. I'll hear it click, okay? And analyze, and you're good to go. Okay. He's up here. So he said that he's okay with you taking the car. Are you okay with driving the car?
I'm fine with that.
Here's the keys.
Thank you.
Let me just take your information down real quick.
So, what do I need to do?
So he's gonna go to 49th Street Jail.
Okay.
And he's got to spend at least 8 hours there. He's got some stuff to do first, and then once he's done, then he'll give you a call.
As seen in the footage, Deputy Weaver's girlfriend took the breathalyzer test, which proves she was not under the influence of alcohol, giving her the opportunity to drive the vehicle away instead of having it towed. The officer also stated that Deputy Weaver would be spending at least 8 hours at the department in order to process his information and charge him with DUI. Under Florida law, driving under the influence of alcoholic beverages, chemical substances, or controlled substances is one offense, proved by impairment of normal faculties, or an unlawful blood alcohol or breath alcohol level 0.08 or above. The exact breath alcohol level is usually determined later at the department through a breath sample, something which Deputy Weaver has already agreed to provide.
Why was he driving?
I asked him if he was okay to drive, and he legitimately thought he was.
Okay.
We have that conversation every time before. We know his job,
Yeah.
you know, is probably now.
Extremely concerning.
Yes. But no, it's he tells me when he's not, and I drive, and it's never a problem. But I trust his judgment.
Yeah, if somebody's been drinking, don't trust them.
Okay.
Because at 0.05, that's when your judgment goes away.
Okay.
And then as you go higher and higher, that's just
Obviously.
worse. So
Obviously.
if somebody starts drinking, you're driving.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Perfectly good.
It's just safer that way. Because if he kills somebody tonight, that's 25 years in prison. So.
I understand that.
Yeah. All right.
I'm a big component. I have been my whole life about not drinking and driving. So that's why we have the conversation.
Yeah.
So.
What's that?
No, that's not.
All right, ma'am.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
will.
Thank you.
The officer then had a word with Deputy Weaver and discussed how he would definitely get fired for his poor decisions that night. Deputy Weaver stated that his department has a zero-tolerance policy in terms of DUI, so it was for sure going to cost him his entire career.
So when I get there, they'll make sure that they tell them that you're deputy, and then keep you separated from them without sometime.
Yeah, we'll try and bond out as soon as they give me a chance. But
So legally, it's 8 hours from the time of arrest. It's the state statute. So from 0 to 44 hours. So it'll be 10:44 that you'll be eligible to get released. So by like 11 noon-ish. Most likely it'll be an ROR situation.
yeah, more
So-
more. I need to actually call the jail and let them know I'm not going to be at work.
Oh, you work tomorrow?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So my sergeant did call the department
Okay, well, they know.
and let them know. We wanted to get that ball rolling as soon as possible because there's going to be a lot coming down off of it.
Yeah, no, that's my career. Done.
I'm sorry.
It happens. It's my fault. Literally didn't think I was over the limit where I went after it.
Well, that's the problem with alcohol. Is it
Oh, I know.
it sneaks up on you.
No,
so.
I know. I fucked up. It sucks. Just had 6 more years to go.
No, one of the guys, a buddy of mine, he wound up getting a DUI. He said he had to wait 2 years and then reapply, and then he got him his time back and everything else.
Well,
And he worked in the jail.
So Hillsborough went 0 tolerance. So, I mean, I'll lose my job.
Okay.
As far as getting it back, I mean, because I shouldn't lose my pension. I mean, I might lose my...
Yeah, because you're vested and everything
Yeah,
else.
yeah. So I would just have to try and pick up that far because it's state retirement. So
Yeah.
pick that up somewhere else. But
The pay is going to be, yeah. But
I mean,
like I said,
I'm at $103,000 a year right now. Yeah. So I understand. This kind of blows. Kind of blows.
No,
And yeah, it's 0 tolerance. They're not, unless I get this case thrown out.
or reckless. Or reckless.
Right. It depends on
Here's the thing, you're cooperative. This is your first time. Everything else,
DUI.
So-
They don't even question
even if it's not done reckless.
even in our county. Yeah,
Because our county knocks everything down your first time.
if they knock it down to reckless and they don't count it as a DUI at all, but just the fact that I blew over the limit, they went zero tolerance. So, yeah. I mean, unless a miracle happens.
Then, at the jail, Deputy Weaver provided the officers with a breath sample, which confirmed that he was above the legal alcohol limit. Deputy Weaver blew a .09, while the legal limit in Florida is .08, as we discussed earlier.
You're 094 and 093. So you are over the limit is 0. Have a seat. I'm gonna leave the door open, okay? I'm not gonna do that to you.
As a result, Deputy Weaver was ultimately charged with 1 count of driving under the influence. Soon after the arrest was made, Sheriff Chad Chronister of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office said in a statement that we hold our employees to the same standard that we expect from the public, and that driving under the influence is never an option. And this deputy's poor decision is a great disappointment. Following this, Deputy Weaver was suspended without pay pending an internal investigation. As of the date of this recording, no information has been released from either department, and it's currently unknown as to what conclusion was made. Be sure to check out our previous video, where we cover another outrageous police encounter